Have you ever heard the term placebo when it comes to clinical trials? Well, here's what it means. Most importantly, clinical trials have changed so much in the last decade with the advent of genetic testing and really the World Wide Web and international mutual clinical trials. It's important that you know that a clinical trial often doesn't require you to travel. You can access a clinical trial from your home cancer agency unless it needs to be administered with a certain tool or something that your cancer agency doesn't have. So that's kind of an interesting little advancement in clinical trials. But when it comes to the concept of placebo, what you must know is that because we're dealing with humans here, nobody's going to take risks with your life. So by the time something gets to being tested on human clinical trial, it's already been tested enough that we both know it is safe and we know that it works. So when we're talking about a placebo in the context of a clinical trial for cancer, the placebo is the standard of care. Let me say that differently. If the first line standard of care for your type of cancer, or the second, third, or fourth, depending on where you're at and whether you're stage 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, how many lines of treatments you've had, is specific to, let's say, a couple of types of chemotherapy and maybe one targeted therapy, you're going to get that. That would be the placebo part of the clinical trial. So if you're in the placebo arm, you're going to be getting at least the basics, at least the standard of care that everyone else would be getting. You're not going to be getting no treatment. And of course, everybody else will be getting the new drug that's being trialed or the combination that's being trialed. There is a way, if you are somehow finding yourself in some sort of blind trial, there is a way to find out whether you're in the placebo arm or the targeted therapy arm. And that is with the use of blood-based monitoring, liquid biopsy testing. We would test your blood for the mutations that this trial is supposed to be targeting. And if your level of those mutations is being affected, then we know that you're on the right drug, or you're on the drug part of the trial as opposed to the standard of care chemotherapy arm of the trial. But do rest assured, a placebo arm of a clinical trial means you'll still get the standard of care that everyone else is getting. But if you really want to make sure you're on the proper arm, don't enter a blind trial for starters, or use liquid biopsy monitoring to make sure that you can tell what's happening in your body.